Morning, everybody.
If you have OCD, you are losing it right now.
Why?
There's two on that side and one on that side. And I'm glad I don't have to look at it. I would be gone.
Am I coming through okay? Okay, cool. Roy and Amber, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. And thank y'all. Y'all look good.
Just to get a housekeeping note out of the way, we will be opening up to audience questions for the final few minutes of this 30-minute panel. So please think up your most hostile and aggressive questions you can possibly muster. Look for all the dirt you can on these two on your iPhones and bring it during the last 5 minutes of this panel. Now, before we get into the meteor issues of the moment, I want to start by asking you guys about the relatively new show you're helming. I've been watching it recently. I haven't had as much time to watch as I would like to because the President of the United States keeps invading different things and bombing different things. It gets a little busy at work. I don't have as much time for TV.
He kept it domestic this week, though, with the invasion.
Yeah, I think he switched it up, and that's nice.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Nice, refreshing, local invasion.
Expanding the military campaigns on American cities.
Yes, it was all right.
Yeah. The Boise is next. But when I watch your show, I find it a little bit hard to classify it. Is it a game show? Is it a talk show? Is it a panel discussion show, comedy show, political show? I want to hear from you guys what you've been doing with it and how you want to take it forward, particularly during this fairly intense moment for both politics and comedy, which, again, we'll get more into that later.
How did they pitch the show to you? Like, when they came to you, when the British creators...
They said it's a panel show disguised as a game show.
Yeah, that's about what I said. I was told it's a game show that doesn't keep score because the score doesn't matter. It's just a crazy vehicle through which to inform you about everything that's happened this week. And it works. And when we did the first screen test, I kept trying to, keep the score updated like a baseball announcer. Okay, after that category, this team, Amber's team has 3. Michael Ian Black's here. And they're like, stop. No one cares. We're never going to put the points up on the screen.
Well, that's your sports background, Roy.
Yeah, I know.
You can't shake it.
I can't.
Right. So, what favorite episode so far and why?
Ooh, Mike Lawler or Tim Burchett? My favorite episodes of the show, because you have to understand the origins of the show. The show is a 30-year mainstay in Britain, and it's a show where British politicians, even from the opposing party, come on to kind of talk a little bit about policy, put their feet to the fire, and try to maintain some sense of normalcy in terms of talking about politics. It's harder to do that in America because we are far more divided than they are in Britain. But anytime we get a Republican lawmaker on the show, I think it is better television. I do not think it's necessarily feeding validity to the ridiculousness and opinions. If anything, I think it's helping to shine them and drag them out into the light. But Tennessee State Rep Tim Burchett was great. Great in a terrible train wreck sense. But Mike Lawler, I think New York Rep Mike Lawler was interesting because he came on the week before the vote about cutting Medicaid and Medicare. Michael Ian Black basically got him on the record, basically dipping and dodging and sliding around it. And then the next week he did exactly the opposite of what he said he was going to do, which was not vote to cut Medicaid and Medicare, which is exactly what he did.
And Michael Ian Black made him swear he wouldn't. 1,100 times on national television. And the very next week, he turned around and did it. Michael Ian Black, who is our other team captain, is not here. He's probably busy dragging some politician to their freaking face.
You didn't have him do it on a Bible, though, when you made him swear.
I mean, we should have. And we will from now on.
Next time.
You know what was a fun one, too, was you and Jasmine Crockett.
I know.
See, look at her face.
Jasmine Crockett was as much fun as you think. She was so fun, and she was so cute, and she was a little bit mean, and that's always the best.
Yeah.
So, Roy, you actually have a background in TV journalism. Is that correct?
Well, I have a degree in TV, but all of my experience was print and radio.
How does that inform what you do now? And can you take us a little bit into the background of like how you cut your teeth there?
Well, so my dad was a radio journalist for about 60 years, and I got two brothers that were anchors on various affiliates around the country in the 90s. So we consume news on a regular basis in our house. Like, I read the paper every day. My dad had a separate TV in another room just for C-SPAN. And because he would put a tape recorder next to the TV and literally just record congressional sessions all day and then go back through and pull sound bites. So I would be in one room playing Nintendo, and I could just hear laws being voted on in the other room in like the 5th grade. So it was just always weird. So growing up, this idea of always consuming the news, even if it wasn't something I couldn't necessarily use on the radio show, because, I mean, we did urban radio, so we had to figure out the quickest way to tell you the most important things, which I think was like probably for the better considering where we are now with news, because I think where I feel like we differ on our show, we're most so trying to just tell you what happened, and if we can get into whose fault it was or what the solution is, cool, but if not, we got to keep it moving because we're literally trying to summate the entire week. So I think that part of it has helped to translate to what we do now on the show, you know, whereas at Daily Show, and I'm sure at Seth, like with Closer Looks and like your chats with Seth, you have more time to sit in one topic and really get into the nuance of it. We don't have the time for that on CNN for our show, and it's a news network. Y'all got 6 other nights to get to the nitty gritty. We here for the jokes. Let Abby Phillip and them cuss each other out and, and figure out the truth. We're here just for the jokes.
Do you want to expand on that a little bit more?
We are here just for the jokes.
Perfect. Blue Sky's dream guest, who do you want next on the show? And from the Republican Party?
She don't want nobody.
None of them motherfuckers.
I've always said Ted Cruz would be an interesting liar to have.
I know you say, like, I see what they are doing. I see the rights of mine that they are trying to take away. It fills me with hate. But then you say a name like Ted Cruz, and I'm like, we would roast him so bad. It would be so fun. I mean, that would be very fun to look that man in the face as he sweats because you gave him the tiniest bit of pressure. It would be delicious.
Yeah. I think the thing we have to try and avoid with our program, and this is something that they don't experience with the British version of the show, is that we have to be careful that our show is not a show where Republicans and people that have voted on very heinous things do not use our show as a place to kind of wash themselves in the central, to become and appear more centrist than what they really are and what their voting history reflects. So that's the balance, because you want to bring them on and hold their feet to the fire, but then you also don't want them to use your show as a platform where they're able to do that. Because on the liberal side of the game, there's no other show that's having Republicans on and allowing them literally, hey, just talk, just say what you want. I mean, The Daily Show will have interviews, but it's going to be angled on a particular topic. You can come on our show and literally try to joke about anything, and if you can make it funny, great. If not, we're going to roast your ass to your face. So I think maintaining that balance, I think our version of the show has a different sense of responsibility to the American voter than our British predecessor. So that's still a balance that we're working to find.
Well, something you mentioned to me backstage, green room, whatever you want to call it, was that you actually consider stand-up and that form of comedy as a form of journalism. Let me know if I botched your quote a little bit, but and you were using that to relate what you used to do, what you would later do in stand-up comedy, and what you do now. Can you dig into that a little bit more, especially as you're talking about now having a forum where, yes, it's a comedy show. It's not, you're not hosting Jake Tapper's show or anything like that, but it is an opportunity to use what you guys do for a different kind of a sort of media public ad, if I'm making sense at all?
I think all comedy is having something happen to you and then telling the truth about it. And then now we're all in a pile of dog shit. So it feels good when someone says out loud, hey, I don't like this and I don't like that. And you're kind of at fault and you're a bitch and your mom's a hoe. I don't like this and I don't like that. It feels good to hear because you are at home feeling the same way I'm feeling out here. So it is through that, we're just reacting to what has happened to our country in real time, you know.
Yes.
And a lot of times, you know, in the first act, that's pretty heavy. Then in the second act, somebody chased an alligator, they fell in love and got married. You know, we cover all manner of stories.
Yeah, the back 2/3 of the show is fun town.
The back 2/3 of the show makes up for the heaviness of the first, but we do get our jokes in the first.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and you have to, but it's just a matter of making sure that I think comedically you're either reporting on what you feel or what you saw, and the best jokes do both. How what I saw made me feel, what it made me feel. And I think we're able to try and, you know, find a balance of that. I just think it's very difficult, especially as we start transitioning to whatever entertainment's going to be in the next couple of years, is figuring out how do you have a platform that criticizes people without bringing on the people that you're criticizing, but without validating the people and the bullshit that they stand for, and figuring out that weird balance. You know, I just think that it's going to be an interesting time in media, especially when you look at how I think a lot of media outlets are going to start leaning a little bit more conservative in their program and a little bit more conservative centered in their guests and who they book and things of that nature. So it's something that's already been percolated. I don't feel like we're doing anything new per se, but I just think that you have to be thinking about the responsibility of it. I don't think that any comedian, and I think most don't, wear the hat of I'm here to inform you. I am here to use jokes to maybe help you think differently about something. Whether you do or don't is up to you. So I'm conscious of that. We're conscious of that. But I don't think we've ever led with this sword of truth and, yeah, we fixed America tonight, didn't we? All right, see you next Friday, Amber.
I also think another reason why our formula is special and why our show is so, in my opinion, fantastic, it's because we have real feelings. Like, you'll never find, I dare you to find two men this funny who will be like, that hurt my feelings and I did not like they're so emotionally intelligent, and then I'm just any regular woman. So that evens, here we even out. But no, to be like, to highlight your own vulnerability and to say out loud how you honestly feel about something, that people like that because they're also going through it, you know. And we do joke, and then we do say how we feel, and ain't nobody doing that.
You too at this time do have the privilege, or in some cases horror, of doing this job in TV for a major network, including one that the President of the United States does not like, and doing comedy/political media during a time where it is different than it was in recent years and decades. Look, as you were saying, none of us are here going to argue that doing comedy or political comedy on television right now is the same thing as being someone standing in the middle of Fallujah at the height of the war or something like that. But the stakes are higher in the sense that the leader of the free world, Donald Trump, is willing to wield and has wielded the levers of the federal government, the power to try to crush mergers, to intimidate openly. He and some of his top officials, they're not shy about it. They're saying what they're doing, and by God, they've spent the last 7 months doing it, basically trying to shake down different major organizations, including Paramount, and while doing it, bragging about how this is having a chilling effect on not just the corporations themselves, but their talent. People who do comedy for them. Everybody here knows about what happened with the Colbert Show, other stuff associated with that. So as you go forward in that moment, what would you say for, not just for your show, but other people who want to do this stuff while the President of the United States is doing things like threatening criminal investigations against entertainers and public figures he does not like? How do you what's the best way to do it? And how is it different than what you did even 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago?
Well, I think, as Amber so eloquently said at her White House Correspondents' Dinner performance earlier this year. Oh, wait, that didn't happen. You didn't. What was that? That must have been Colin Jost. My bad. Which I really like. All jokes aside, I feel like that was the start of this shit. Was what happened to you with the correspondence. I wouldn't even put it on Colbert. Like, we're gonna lean on the media, and then I feel like the White House basically then, you can tell me if I'm wrong, you was on the phone calls, I feel like he forced those reporters to choose between their employment or saying what was right. And then Stephen Colbert had to choose between his employment and saying what was right. And I think that's going to be the continuation over the next 3.5 years in this administration. I think the freedom that comedians have on television to say what they feel is right will just boil down to how much of a pussy your boss is or is not. Or, so far, CNN, great bosses, lots of backbone. We've gotten no notes, and we've said wild shit.
Some wild-ass shit.
No, and they be there, like CNN, like they
They're
care.
right there.
They be in the room. Right. They come up to you after the taping. Yeah, good job talking that shit.
All right.
Like, to the new performers, though, I don't think they're going to have the same problem. You can't bully. You can fire Colbert, but you can't bully him. You can't police him. Same with Kimmel, Fallon, Seth. They are going to do what they want because they're legacy. But I think what this administration is going to realize is that by trying to stamp out new voices, they're just going to find other avenues. You can't suffocate opinion and perspective, and you can't deny what people are feeling. There are more people watching YouTube on their TV than on their phones now. And where do you think a lot of legacy media is going? Don Lemon's there. Joy Reid is there. There's some right-wingers there. Like, that's where people are going, and you cannot police that. YouTube ain't got nobody you can call at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, I don't know, but like...
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I do think that the kids who are coming up now, looking at politics now, you know, they're on fire for all the stuff that's happening in their world right now, and they're coloring what will be funny at the same time as they're pointing out what is to be talked about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're saying, these are the topics. No, we don't want this fluffy stuff. We want to go here with it. And they can, because they are on TikTok. I just found them. They got 50,000 followers. I'm all the way in, you know? And I think a lot of people are going that route, especially for topical comedy, because it used to be a lot of shows.
Yeah.
Used to be a lot of late night shows and a lot of topical comedy, and it's not there anymore. But sure as shit on TikTok, and them little kids can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yep.
I mean, covering some of this stuff is so surreal to me because for years I'd been covering the Trump first-term attempts to kind of sort of ham-fistedly bully late-night comedy. He didn't like there were actually, I reported on this at the Daily Beast, and then when I got to Rolling Stone, there were conversations between the White House and DOJ trying to figure out how to slow walk the president's demands that the FCC and the DOJ look into things like SNL. I'm not making this up. The White House did make phone calls to Disney trying to pressure them with regards to Jimmy Kimmel to try to get him to shut up or lay off. It did not work, but the difference then is he was surrounded by people who didn't really take that stuff seriously for the most part. Now all those people are cleared out. Now it's just people who want to get him as close to that maximalist autocratic position as he possibly can. So while you guys are going about covering this stuff from a point of comedy, and not just what you two want to do, but your advice to the younger people out there, how do you satirize and make fun of something that is in itself so self-satirizing? This is a former game show host who hosted Celebrity Apprentice who is sicking the military on American soil while fighting off these pedophilia conspiracy allegations. It defies. You'd get laughed out of a writer's room.
I feel like a lot of times, while fighting off pedophilia allegations is so funny because that is so what's happening. But I think like in 2020, after the murder of George Floyd, it was really hard to make jokes because black people have been like, they'll murder you in a heartbeat, but our whole lives. But then to get the whole audience there was very, very hard. And that took a lot of tippy-toeing. And it's because we were making jokes about something so horrendous. But now we're all in this. Any one of us fits neatly into a little prison. All of us are in danger anytime we leave the house. When you come back into the country and they take your fucking phone, they're going to see you tweeted Trump as a bitch and you're in danger, you know? So we're all in the same boat. So yeah, it's harder, but in a lot of ways it's easier because the boot is on all of our necks.
Yeah, and I think, and to that point, I think that as we get through the next 3 years of this administration, you're going to have people that are more and more willing to pay attention to what's going on because it's a slow ripple effect from the policy to who it reaches, including Trump voters, when you have people that voted for Trump who are now getting deported themselves, and some even still saying they still wouldn't have voted for Kamala as they're getting on the ICE truck out of town. So you almost, in a way, have to wait for this boot to get around everybody's neck, and then people go, okay, now what was you saying about some of his policies? You got my attention now.
Well, I thought that it was...
Like, and I'll give Trump and them credit, though. Like, this, like, policing, and, like, they've watched everything for years. They've, like, this, all of a sudden, you're criticizing me, and now I'm sensitive. 2016 at Daily Show, he was not president yet. It was still, matter of fact, it was New Hampshire primaries, and it was still like 11 people in the running. We did a video. We said that Trump was a rapper, and we did this. Trevor and I, we did this thing called Black Trump, where we took nothing. We made a rap song comprised solely of Donald Trump quotes. And we shot a video, and we performed it, and we put out this whole Black Trump video, and it gets laughs. It's fine. 2 weeks later, New Hampshire primaries, we reach out to Trump's team to get credentialed for one of his whatever the hells. Their one-line reply to our Daily Show producer was the link to the Black Trump video. So they watch everything and have been for a very long time. You know, my advice to any young people out there that have opinions, that have perspectives, you know, it's going to be very weird within legacy media to find a place for new opinions that are as aggressive, that are not protected the same as the reputations of all of the people that currently have late night slots. So you have to ideate and create on your own. There's a young woman at Revolt, Lene, I think Vinay, she's cooking. I think the Adam Friedlander kid, he's doing some very interesting, dope stuff. So you have to be able to create your own ecosystem, and through that, find the people. And that can never be controlled by any administration. I think we have forgotten that somewhere over the last, like somewhere from Trayvon Martin till now, I think we forgot that all of these corporations that greenlit all of this pro-black, pro-liberal, fight the power content, they're still corporations. They're not people. So to have this expectation that a corporation would, they care to an extent, but once that caring extends past profitability, they are always going to err on the side of profit and ratings and margins and stock prices. So you just have to be prepared for that and just not be shocked and aghast when they decide to clap back.
Well, I'm sorry that I was so shocked by Target. But it did break my little heart. I'm not going there, but I want to. And I'm never going back. I'm never going to get to go in there again.
What boycott is giving you the most withdrawals? Like, of all of all the stuff black people have had to boycott over the decades.
Didn't care about Chick-fil-A. Never. Well, that was black thing, or that a gay thing. But I will. It has to be Target, because Target's right there. Is Christmas. I need lights for the bottom of the tree because my 100-foot ran out. It's right there. But I can't go there. I have to go to Walgreens and get 50-foot, and it's a yellow gold, not the gold. And I got to have a bitch tree for all of Christmas because Target can't get their shit together. I'm so mad about everything else. But Target does deserve the smoke.
I don't know how we're going to top that, but we have time for one, maybe two audience questions. Don't be shy, or else you.
I know that you guys just mentioned TikTok and YouTube, but those are corporations too. And look at how he's already tried to get rid of TikTok a bunch of times. So I'm concerned that what are other outlets other than those that you think that people can use?
Should I repeat that?
What are outlets other than TikTok and YouTube? Because those are corporations too. What are other outlets that people can use?
I know some people do Substack. I think the mechanics are a little different for a social media company versus a true legacy media company, because TikTok's profits are driven by traffic, be it positive or negative. So it's not in TikTok's best interest to mute or delete an account of somebody just because they're saying the wrong thing. YouTube can demonetize you, but they have a specific set of rules and bylaws. I don't think a tech company will be completely bullied by this corporation, because even if you switch it over to a U.S. owner of TikTok, I think there's still going to be an opportunity for people to be able to go there and do stuff. I think the issue with social media, it's when it's time to mobilize, and then you get into situations like they do overseas where, hey, y'all, we down here to protest, meet at the, I ain't got no signal. Like, it's going to be... It'll be a lot of that. Like, you'll probably see a lot of, throttling of the internet or muting of posts and, like, what's it called when you post the shit and then don't nobody see it? Shadow banning. Yeah, shadow banning. So I think that the issue of censorship there is a little different than media, but I just think in the bare bones essentials of being able to have somewhere where people can find you and find your voice, I think on the base level, I think it's safer than a new person. Like, let's say you're a hit YouTuber right now, and then you decide to sell your show to XYZ, Fox, NBC, whoever. You are going to get a gang of notes because you're 25 and you're not going to bully us. You should be thankful that we even called your ass. We'll ship you out on the porch right now and get somebody else in who's compliant, because there's a line out the door of people willing to follow our rules. And TikTok doesn't have that.
We got time for one more question. Please, speak up.
The pilot of Have I Got News? Okay.
And I'm just curious how it's changed since the pilot episode and your target demographic for age. What's the age that's most watched?
What's our target? How has our show changed since the pilot?
Our show has changed since the pilot in the following ways. 1, Zaz. 2, how badly we behave. 3, I am shocked that they let us act the way we act. They really do. I think there are fewer rules on BBC. And then here, well, I don't know that that's true. I think that they just are happy to break them. And here they're also happy to break them. Our rowdiness, that's the biggest. I think we are exceedingly more rowdy because now we're comfortable, and that's the most dangerous.
Yeah. British fans of the show, not crazy. Do you go on our Reddit?
No.
Oh, I read all the Reddits. That's the only comments I read is Reddit comments.
Really?
Yeah, because it's thoughtful hate. Like, it's not like, it ain't a quick line. It's a nice paragraph about why Roy Wood is not the right host and they're too loud. But I think that it nails the American ideology. For the most part, Brits love the show, but I think that the biggest difference is that we have been given more leeway to be a lot more opinionated and to have we've earned through these last 2 seasons, we've earned the opportunities to be more earnest and honest and emotional and have depth. We've done really well on Saturday nights for CNN, and we've climbed. I think we're 1 in the demo. I think Fox is still overall in our time slot on Saturdays, but we've grown leaps and bounds over whatever they've had in that time slot over the last 2 years. And so that comes from being able to earn a relationship with the audience. Demographic number, Nielsen, nerd number, I don't know. All I know is that I get a firm handshake from CNN execs when they come in the building, and I know that's a good thing because I've worked at TBS when a show was failing. You do not meet the execs when the show is not doing well. But, you know, we're just excited about season 3, and I'm thankful that we have a place where so far it seems like our bosses are not pussies.
Well,
And
I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Most importantly, did you all have fun?
yeah.
Our time's up. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.